Because they don't really need defense. They have Jones and they have Werenski.
Yeah, that's true.
And
They
Murray.
might even not be after fall. Yeah.
But
I mean, you have to be Skinner and something else. I think Panarin has a little bit more upside, only because Skinner's injury,
and Panarin's
concussions a little bit.
Panarin came off a career year.
So
Set the record for most points by a Jacket in a single season and stuff like that. So
that's very good. Yeah. I wonder. I could see him in Carolina too, actually.
yeah, maybe Skinner and maybe Slavin or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure Carolina's goaltending situation. It's Darling and who else did they got there?
Cam
Do
Ward,
they have Eddie Lack?
Eddie Lack.
I think it was Eddie Lack,
Yep.
yeah. But Cam Ward hits free agency, if he hits free agency. I don't know, where do you guys think Ward would go?
Edmonton.
I could see him being Edmonton's backup.
Well, he's local.
But
Well, from sure.
Edmonton just signed
Montoya, right?
Montoya. They got that Mikko. Some guy. The name's not coming off.
Did they
top of my
just
head.
acquired him in a trade?
No, they signed him.
Oh, okay, because they just acquired a goalie in a trade from Montreal, too. I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
but-
the name's not coming to mind. But apparently he's back up, and then they're going to try and get rid of Montoya.
Okay, yeah.
But I thought, now that you said Ward's not going back to Carolina, I just thought that their plan was give Darling another chance, and then if he kind of doesn't prove himself, then Ward steps in.
Well, and this is most likely, right? Ward might end up staying for cheap, and because he's been there so long, right? He's been there since 2000. I mean, his first year was 06, but I think he's been there before that because he was drafted, right? But
Yeah.
At this point, yeah, I think he's pretty much a backup in his career. Kind of like a Ryan Miller, he would almost remind me of.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Were he still good enough to play
solid,
a stretch?
play a solid backup or a fringe starter, if you want to call him that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. He's not to the point he's so brutal you can't put him in there.
Yeah.
He could still steal you some games. And that's where Ryan Miller comes in handy too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I guess just mention have some buyouts. Gryba on waivers, Edmonton. Alex Burrows placed on waivers. And Ouellette, Detroit on waivers now. Nothing really.
And obviously, we mentioned Orpik too.
Orpik,
Yeah.
sorry.
But,
Also Paul Martin, San Jose.
Yeah.
oh, yes, that was legit. He's bought out already.
And I heard Jason Spezza is not getting bought out.
Yeah.
Because that was a
He's
rumor.
Off the buyout table there.
But do you think, going back to the draft here, because Ottawa had the chance to give the pick they picked Brady Tkachuk with.
Yeah.
And now Colorado gets Ottawa's first round draft pick next year.
That was in the Duchesne?
In the Duchesne trade, yeah. And do you think that Ottawa will be better this year coming?
No.
Or do you think they'll be worse? Because if they're worse, hypothetically, if they're worse and they pick, and Colorado could get the first overall pick,
So,
in the
which
draft.
could be Jack Hughes.
yeah,
So,
which would be a win-win either way. I mean, Tkachuk would have been a good pickup for Colorado.
Honestly, I'm thinking Ottawa's going to be bottom.
Bottom 5 for sure.
Yeah, because
we get rid of Hoffman,
we got rid of Hoffman, and then now Craig Anderson wants out,
Burrows.
and You're buying Burrows. So which Burrows doesn't make a big impact? For Anderson, he's your number one goalie.
Carlson, right?
Erik Karlsson. If they don't get something done with him, either way, I mean, he'll be gone at the end of the year for free agency, or he'll be. I think he'll be gone sooner than that.
I think if he gets traded, he's getting traded for future,
Ottawa.
so stuff that isn't going to help him this year anyhow.
So, I mean, you still got Stone. Stone's a really good player, but those guys they're going to be, it's not going to be a good season for them.
But it's, the more that this trade ages, the better it's looking for Colorado. It's just...
I should say, they do have Matt Duchesne still.
Yeah, they do. But it's just, the more this trade goes down the line, the better it's getting for Colorado. mean, Andrew Hammond stole the playoffs.
I heard in the draft that decision was made just before, after Montreal's pick, it was finalized.
Once they knew they could get Kachuk.
Yeah, Ottawa was like, okay, Kachuk because Kachuk was available.
Yeah.
He probably should have been picked at third, right? Kachuk was available. Ottawa went, okay, we'll take. Then you guys have him next year.
Yeah.
And they did the right decision.
I think
because they don't know next year, but they do know at the time, right? They know what they got now, but they don't know next year. They might not be, because the way the draft works, Carolina wasn't that terrible.
Carolina
to
jumped
be
like
as high
6
as they
spots or 7 spots.
Yeah. So, and where Ottawa could get screwed, well, actually it'd be Colorado at that time, I guess. Ottawa could be terrible, but that doesn't guarantee you get number one.
No.
So,
which I like that new draft system.
Yeah, but the tanking don't mean much.
You don't, yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm happy they waited till Toronto got Matthews. We needed it. We needed something.
Yeah, exactly.
But
do you? One thing they brought up at the draft that kind of made me think about it a little bit. In correct me if I'm wrong, the NFL, the guys aren't drafted until like 22, 23.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that.
Do you think that's something that would be better, more beneficial for the NHL than the ones guys are
obviously not 22? They figure 19. They bring it 1 year back.
Yeah, or even 20. Say, do you think that would help the players develop a little better? They'd be NHL ready already. I mean, it's hard to say that because look at McDavid, look at guys like Matthews, Lonnie, probably Deline.
Well, the generational, the franchise guys, they're ready at 18 anyhow. Like David, like you said, David and Matthews, they're ready first year anyhow, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to think. Well, Marner, he was down in the juniors for 1 extra year, right?
Yeah.
Because some guys aren't ready, right off the bat.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I'm okay with him being this young. Being drafted 17, 18 years old.
I'm just comparing it to baseball. Like, there are rookies. Like, I'm just taking, for example, Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year last year. He's, I think, mid-20s. And that was his first year. But, I mean, baseball is different. You can have guys that are almost 40 and still playing.
Yeah.
And still playing high-end baseball.
I know hockey is like, I would think maybe mid-30s you're lucky to be playing.
Yeah.
And still being effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We're in a young man's game now. Like, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or I talked with somebody else, but look at prime examples. Perry and Getzlaf. They're not nearly as effective anymore, and they're only like 32, 33 years old.
They seem like they're late 30s.
Yeah. Right?
But you look at Ovechkin, 30 years old.
Well, 32.
32?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But he's evolved his game to...
I mean, but I put Ovechkin in the...
A little bit upper echelon.
Yeah, I put him in the franchise category. Yeah. Right? And Perry and Getzlaf in my eyes are elite.
Yeah, to use NHL 18.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah.
The Crosbys, Ovechkins, they might play till 40 because those guys are...
Yeah.
They might tail off, but they're still going to be better than a lot of the other guys. That's because that's how much better they are to begin with.
That's true.
Like McDavid, he might be a guy that plays till at least 40. He might play longer because he might be...
Yeah, that's true.
He's just that much better than everybody else, maybe.
It's possible, right?
But it is a young man's game.
Very much so.
Look at Burrows. He's probably... I'd say he's under 35, Burrows. And is anybody going to sign him? There's a good chance possibly not.
Arizona?
Another...
I don't know. A team that needs the depth forward just for players?
Well, yeah, no, for sure. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, those guys, like, less and less. Like, they get bought out. They have less of a chance of signing with somewhere else I find nowadays than they would have 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, definitely. But is there any really big names that you can think of that have been bought out and signed?
Bought out and signed? This year or just...
In general. Because you had said the last 5 years, so...
I'm trying to think if there's any like stars that like didn't pan out for a team, so they bought him out, but then he ended up like basically turning his career around. I'm trying to think, but I don't know. Not off the top of my head, but I imagine there was one or two.
Yeah, okay, I guess that the fans know. Links in the description below. Also buy our shirts.
Yeah. I guess moving on. I've had some small signings and big signings. Obviously, the big ones being John Carlson re-signing in Washington, 8 years, $64 million.
Wow.
I mean, is there anything to say about that one?
I kind of just it's not a terrible price for him, but it kind of sets the bar for Doughty and Carlson coming up next year. In my
Yeah.
eyes.
And he's mid-20s, 24?
Might be a little bit. No, I thought I seen he's 20. I thought he was 28,
Oh, really?
27. And somebody said they feel like he's just hitting his prime.
Well, he is just in his stride, I think.
For as a defenseman, yeah, like 25 is.
In 8 years, I mean, it's almost the price you got to pay to keep a player, right? 8 years almost seems to be the defining factor. So obviously, whatever Washington did, not dumped or pick, but
Yeah,
got rid of that salary,
if
and
Orpik comes back, they pretty much kept the team together.
that's what I mean.
I think that's what they're trying to do.
They still have Smith Pelly, I believe.
Probably, yeah.
But they didn't give him a qualifying offer.
No.
So,
I
probably
mean,
not
I guess
good,
Grubauer is gone.
probably not a good sign, but I mean, I think they have decent depth.
Well, you lose something like that, you could probably still go and win the cup.
Yeah.
But if you lost John Carlson, probably not.
No.
You can kind of compare him to Chicago, I guess. You know, after you win the cup, you're going to lose a couple.
Oh, for sure.
Couple of your guys. It's just a matter of
Couple.
you signing the core, and then
Yeah. It seems you always lose the key playoff guys. Like Chicago lost Bickle, Bufflin. They were big playoff guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they had a big playoff, then wanted bigger money.
Yeah.
So, we got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So it happens, right?
Yeah. I mean, look at the other side. The team that didn't win, Vegas, a lot of their guys are going to want a lot of big money.
Well, it sounds like David Perron and James Neal won't be back. David Perron had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
And he didn't score in the playoffs, but he was actually like...
You've seen him out there.
You noticed him. But he was not finishing.
When Carlson wants a long-term deal.
Eric?
William.
Oh, William, yeah. Sorry, we're talking about a lot of Carlson.
Yeah.
I'll make sure we're talking about the same one. Yeah, William Carlson. Yeah, I think they'll end up signing him and Marsh. You know, they already signed Marsh, so I believe.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of these Vegas guys are going to get overpaid because of how good they're doing on this team?
Someone will. No, for sure.
Yeah. But it's hard to say.
Depends what McPhee.
Yeah. You don't want to let the guys walk away, though, right? You know, a guy like Alex Tuck wants $5 million a year, and he says no thanks, and he goes and scores 40 goals to another team, right? But
I mean, he probably won't, but...
No, but that was
yeah.
an example, right? You see a guy like Shea Theodore wanting good money. He's a pretty solid defenseman, so...
And then, I guess another big one would be Ilya Kovalchuk. Finally signs, well, he hasn't signed it yet, but has agreed to a contract with the LA Kings. 3 years, $18.75 million.
So 6.25 a year.
Wow.
Well,
I don't know. That's
We talked about the guy for, 4 weeks in a row?
that'll be finally at the end of this.
We were right about the 2 to 3 years. But we were saying probably $3 million. He got twice that, so...
No, I was always thinking lots. I thought.
Yeah, but that's what... If you're armchair GMing.
Yeah.
I personally think, like, it's a bad one, right, when you look at it. Kind of reminds me of the. Well, I'm not really comparing them, but you know, you